After several years of the Trump administration demonizing China, most Americans harbor a negative view. The new administration has started articulating a very different approach to foreign policy, and a number of positive steps have been made. Nevertheless, it remains stuck between old policies and a firm commitment to a new direction. The U.S.-China relationship is the most consequential bilateral relationship in the world. It's going to remain uncomfortable in the near term at least, although many are cautiously optimistic for a soft reset, perhaps later this year. Currently, Biden is still waiting for policy and strategic reviews from the State Department, Pentagon, and security agencies. He's also testing whether American allies will follow a new China containment strategy. This buys him time and information. He can't afford politically to soften on China presently because he faces an evenly split Senate. He's already lost one cabinet nomination. His priorities are domestic, and he's not going to undermine his domestic position by angering Democrats and Republicans who favor a hard line against China. However, once Biden's stimulus plan is in place, assuming that it is and that it produces promising results, he will likely face tremendous pressure to soften U.S. economic positions towards China. He'll also, however, face tremendous pressures to harden them further. The responsible choice will be the former, but this is a difficult year, one that will likely determine how the midterm elections will be decided in less than 2 years. In a sense, his whole presidency is at stake right now, with razor-thin margins in Congress among the Democrats. Ultimately, I do expect a new normal. I do expect better managed relations, and I am even optimistic for a soft reset, but I have no illusions that things will be great between the two countries. The U.S. is slowly waking up to a world in which the U.S. and the world needs China more than China needs it. In fact, the biggest difference today is that China is in a much stronger position than before, and the U.S. is in a period of relative, if not absolute, decline. This creates a contradiction. On the one hand, the U.S. feels more pressure to compete. On the other, it also feels more pressure to cooperate. But we really haven't seen how this might happen yet. In some respects, cooperation and competition might look like the same thing. For example, on the environment. If Biden wants to cooperate, then marvelous, and we should expect this. But if he wants to compete with China to see which country can be greener, well, that might be even better. Where this gets difficult, however, is whether the U.S. tries to impose its will in multilateral organizations, whether the two countries can cooperate for mutual security, and the simple fact that the U.S. can't really afford to decouple. Indeed, its leading firms are not going to do so. We should expect some softening of the trade war, although Biden might need some dramatic assistance from Beijing for face saving. I don't think we'll see much change with the so-called tech war. I expect Biden will abandon some of Trump's more ridiculous actions, things like his attacks on Chinese apps like TikTok and WeChat, and he might even stop trying to extradite the Huawei CFO from Canada. But tech will remain a place, an area of intense competition, not only because of public sentiment, but also because of how much tech overlaps with security and economic competition. I think at this point in time, we need to be optimistic. I think that China experts, I think Chinese people, they need to be optimistic. And I say this from a political point of view. I think you need to bring optimism to the table because that creates a certain type of positive pressure. And I think that Washington needs that positive pressure after so many years of negativity, and in addition to the fact that they face so many negative conditions at home right now. I think people are hungry for optimism.